Let's talk about football for a second. And the big thing that happened in the football world was Cam Newton got into a brawl wearing his Wicked Witch of the West hat, which never fell off.
That's funny. I would call it the scarecrow hat.
The scarecrow hat, another good definition of it.
Right.
I mean, it was an interesting situation. Then once you figure out, because you actually saw an interview with the guys who got into a fight with him.
Right.
And what they basically said was they reached a breaking point because he had been disrespecting them over and over and over again.
In the media?
No, like in real life.
Really?
Because he was kind of involved in that program.
Right.
And he'd be like, y'all ain't shit without me. Y'all are trash. And, y'all only here because I'm here. Rah, 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 rah. And at one point, one of them just reached a breaking point. And then I guess the other guy who jumped in, that was like his brother. So when he saw his brother brawling, he tried to kind of help out.
Right.
But they both said that the guy was just so overly disrespectful. And then when Cam Newton did his interview about it, he kind of alluded to the same thing. Right. He basically said, something, it was my own fault to a certain degree, and I'm sorry, and whatever. When you saw that brawl, what'd you think?
Again, I was amazed that he was able to pull an Adebise from the Oz and keep that hat on. But from what I saw in the footage, them dudes got mopped. Didn't he kind of fuck them up?
It seemed like he wasn't trying to hit him. It seemed like he was just kind of trying to keep them off of him. And he did a great job. I mean, look, this is a professional football player.
Right.
With a long history from college.
And who's used to contact.
Used to a lot of contact. Used to a bunch of monsters trying to take his head off.
Right.
So a bunch of, amateur guys going at him. Kind of a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Kind of a walk in the park here. But, hey, man, it was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I kind of saw a little bit of it from the internet, but I didn't dive too deep into it. Because, again, I'm just not a football dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I feel like at some point as an adult, and I said this to myself at one point, you have to say you're not going to get into any more physical altercations if you could avoid it.
Right.
Now, sometimes things are out of your control. You get attacked. I get it. But oftentimes, you escalate things yourself. You're the aggressor to a certain degree or whatever else. And at some point, you just got to grow up and say, look, man, I'm not fighting people anymore. That's some shit I'm leaving behind.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, almost kind of reminds me of, remember when Shannon Sharpe was going at it with Mike Epps?
Yeah.
And Mike Epps was calling him gay. Mm-hmm. And Shannon Sharpe's like, yeah, I'm going to see you. We'll see what you say to me in person. And Mike Epps said, well, I don't do a whole lot of fighting these days. I do more blank.
Right.
So
like shoot motherfuckers or something?
That's what he was kind of implying.
Well, I saw Mike on another interview, and Mike was, kind of backpedaling a little bit, but he was more or less saying, look, man, and I agree with him. He goes, look, I'm not saying that I'm going to do something, but there are people out there who might be fans of mine who want to make a name for themselves on my behalf, be like, yeah, I ride with Mike. And Mike try to do something to Shannon, because he goes, I can't control niggas in the streets.
Well, yeah, because I guess, what is it, the All-Star game was happening in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Which is where Mike is from.
Yeah.
So and Mike was like, oh, you're going to come to my hometown. You're going to come see me. And then at that point, I felt like Shannon got a little bit scared. It was like,
I wouldn't put fear into another man's heart, especially one that's an athlete and a gladiator. I don't think it was fear. I wouldn't call it fear.
You don't think it was fear?
Nah.
So what? Professional athletes can't get shot?
Anybody can get got.
That's what I'm saying.
Anybody can get got.
I think that Shannon realized he was going into Mike's hometown, surrounded by a whole bunch of Mike's people, and Mike really, he's got that show on Netflix where he's rehabbing. Remember, he bought his own block and he puts a lot of money back in his community. I think he's very well loved.
I wouldn't use fear. Look, Shannon Sharpe is a big country fed nigga from the South. He'll eat a whole pig alive. Just a different type of strength, man. That motherfucker can open a pickle jar without gripping it, just his palm.
Yeah.
So, and again, ex-NFL player, gladiator, I wouldn't use fear. I wouldn't use fear.